Today we're going to assign lessons on IReady for math. Students have taken the IReady assessment, so now they can access lessons. Okay, so I'm going to enter my information. I put in my email and then my password. Teacher should have the same password unless it's been changed, but it's a capital I, then lowercase ready, 123. Make sure it's Ohio, and we're good. All right, so there's a lot of things I can do here. Really quickly, I can go to reports. I can look at my class. I can see how how my class did in reading for the assessments. I can look at my diagnostic results and see how my class did in reading and math. Status would be when you're taking it. There's a lot of different stuff here. I can look just by a particular student. Later, after I've assigned some lessons, I can go to instruction and get some information on how students are doing with the lessons I assigned. But the real reason we're here today is to figure out how to assign lessons. So go to Assess and Teach at the top. Next, I want to go down to Instruction. And then the third click is going to be on Math. I'm not going to be able to assign any reading lessons. We don't have that ability, but we can assign math lessons. So I'm going to click on Math. If I want additional reading technology resources for my students, reading A to Z is what we're using. So I'm going to click on Math. And on my screen, I have a lot of information, but I want to scroll down to where I see Create Assignments. Under Create Assignments, I'm not a kindergarten teacher, so this is not going to apply to me, but I can look at and search by different information. The first thing I'm probably going to want to do is go to my grade. I'm going to type in third grade and see what third grade has to offer. And then you can see right here, everything is switched to third. The next step I want to do, because there are so many lessons here, way too many to go through, I'm going to go to domain. And my class currently is working on multiplication and starting division. So I'm going to go to algebra and algebraic thinking. And I'm going to find some lessons that are just perfect for my students. These are early third grader lessons down to mid and then late and extra. So in my class, I think it would be great if my students just develop the basic understanding of multiplication as they're starting the year. So I'm going to click on that. You can click on anything you want. I would say go in order. If you go in order, it's going to be way easier to remember what you've assigned and you haven't assigned. I've actually already assigned my class these first 5 lessons before I made this video. So as you can see, there's no information on the screen telling me, hey, you've already assigned these, don't do it again. So you might want to keep track on a separate piece of paper. It's a little easier to do that. What I like to do for my memory purposes, I'll just assign 5 at a time, because that's all that will show up on their screen at a time. They won't see, if you assign 20 today, they will only see 5 at a time as they work through it. So I'll just do 5 at a time, see how that goes, and then a week or 2 later I'll assign 5 more. But it's up to you. So I've already assigned these 5, I know, so I'm just going to go to this next one and assign it. Practice more multiplication addition problems. I can do more than one if I want, but today I'm just going to assign 1. And then I can go back to the top and click Assign My Lessons. Now this screen will pop up, and this is where you get particular with who you're assigning it to. I can assign it to just particular students in my class, if just a couple of them need that, or today I'm going to assign it to everybody. So I'm going to go to classes. Report groups would just be like a smaller group, but students is easier to use than that. So classes, report groups means basically the same thing. So then I'm going to click on that. In here, I can see, okay, I'm going to assign them to all the students in my class. The technology department, the wonderful technology department at Hebrew Academy has already set up your class for you. So you just click on your class and you're good to go. Those students are all going to be seeing practice more multiplication addition problems on their screen as soon as I assign it. I like to go for just assigning it all on the same day. Maybe I've got a couple assignments. You can just go here, but if I have a couple assignments, it's a lot faster to do here. I want everyone to have access to it today. When is it due? Maybe I want to make it due tomorrow. But in this case, since break is coming up, I'm not going to have it due till the start of November. They can turn it in early, but I don't want them to see a bunch of things coming back from break that says, oh, you're past due, you haven't done this. Let's keep up the positive morale. I'm going to assign the lesson. Changes saved. I'm all done. So here's what they will see now. So let me exit out, and I'm going to go to log out. And now let's see what a student will see on their end. All right. So I just inputted what a student in my class would put in. First initial, last initial, number, and then their secret word and their number. Once I'm ready, make sure they're on Ohio and go. And again, this is what a student will see. Now this student in my class, he's done the assessment. If he wants to try a reading assignment, there aren't going to be reading assignments. But if he clicks on that by mistake, no big deal. It just says nothing's been assigned. He can go to his math, and then he can see all of this. Every student in your class will have something either taking up the whole screen if you have assigned nothing, or just the right screen. If you're confused on how to assign work, that's fine. You don't have to assign anything yourself. IReady does it for you. My path on the right with the green lessons are lessons specific for how this student did on his IReady assessment. So this was assigned to him after the test was done by the IReady program. It decided this is the next step he needs in his learning process. Now in my class, we're doing a lot of multiplication. So I assigned them all of this to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one I just assigned is not on here, is not visible by this student because I had already assigned 5 lessons. So the 6th lesson, which would be down here, is not going to pop up till he has this done. So he can click on a lesson to get started, whether you want to tell your students, hey everybody, we're going to work on a green lesson today, or hey everybody, we're going to work on a blue lesson today. Green lessons will be very differentiated, of course, because they're assigned by IReady. So if they're doing green lessons, work on it by themselves. If they're doing a blue lesson, of course, they can work on it by themselves. But a lot of students like, especially as we're starting, do a lesson with a friend. So students in my class, maybe they both have this still available and they need to do it together. They can work on it together. So if I'm the student, I'm just going to log into a lesson to see what it looks like. I'm going to practice algebra thinking today, and we'll just get started.
Understand multiplication using equal groups.
Okay, I'm not going to take you through a whole lesson, but what you're going to see down here at the bottom is the progress bar. This is very easy for students to navigate on their own, but there's just one tricky thing. They're going to do the lesson. They're going to have a lot of things on screen teaching them the subject matter. It's fantastic. When they come to the end of the lesson and their progress bar is around here, they're going to think they're all done. But then it's going to start over to give them a quiz. A lot of students do the instruction part and think they're done and move on. And then they'll say later, oh, but I still have this lesson in my queue. It didn't disappear. I did it already. And then you could tell them, no, you have to go back in and finish it because it says it's in progress. And they might be confused, but they have to take a quiz. So they're going to do the whole lesson. When they're done with the lesson, which is very interactive, then they will take the quiz to see how they did. And that's the grade that you will see when you go through IReady. It'll give you a data readout on how all your students are doing collectively on the lessons and how they're doing individually. It's always good to tell students to do the whole lesson till it's done. And if they don't finish it in one day, it can be like 15 to 20 minutes long, even longer, even shorter. They should come back to the same lesson the next day. You don't want to do what I'm about to do. Oh, I don't like this lesson, I'm going to leave. Are you sure you want to exit the lesson? Yeah, I'm going to exit. Students should not be doing that too often. It will waste their time and they just bopping around between lessons. They should get in a lesson and give it a shot.